Hi, all, and welcome to Digital Thriving. This is going to be a 30-day experience from November 25th until December 20th. So, I have been working on my relationship to technology from the time I was a child. I was raised with very limited television time, 4 to 4:30 after school, watching Arthur or Saturday morning cartoons when they allowed cable shows to play. I had 30 minutes of time on a computer to play Willy Wonka Disney games, and I had occasionally time. I think that summarizes it. I was born in 95, so Blackberries, there I know they just made a show about this, so it's been in my head. Blackberries and iPads, and then eventually the iPhone all came around within my teenage years. I made it through high school without ever having a Facebook, and I got my first phone at the age of 18. So I'm right here in this mix between the limited or smaller amount of tech age coming into the tech age. And as an adult, I went for a little while still really trying to resist a more informed or alive relationship to technology. I had more of the belief that technology, as someone who loved humans, I had more of the belief that technology was getting in the way of our relationship to each other. Technology was getting in the way of our deeper connection and depth and wholeness and sense of identity. And I know that many people still feel this way in the world, and many people are well accustomed to technology, many young people who have access to it at their fingertips. But what's missing for me as someone who ended up choosing to study user experience design, which is psychology and tech together, is this creative question of how do I be in a life-giving, a thriving, an abundant relationship to my technology? Technology can make us feel, it's such a broad word, but our relationship to social tech, be it all the social media apps, as well as to devices that we keep on us 24/7, which didn't exist 10 years ago, 20 years ago, to have phones and watches in which we have instant messaging and the invitation of relationship and financing and all these other work, all these other areas of life that are already challenging, but now at our fingertips. Um, I don't see a conversation about how to have a thriving space with our technology. We have a creative and exploratory, imaginative space when it comes to the arts. We have an athletic and open and also exploratory space when it comes to athletics in the body. And we also have an extreme drive and innovation mindset when it comes to business development. But when it comes to technology, it's viewed as a necessity. It's just there and it's necessary for work. I have to be on email. I have to have a phone to be in contact with people. And it's viewed as a burden. It's destroying our connection. It's destroying our relationships. And sometimes it's viewed as a gift when we look at it and we say, okay, the age of the internet, we have connectivity around the world, we have ideas flowing, we have a way to FaceTime and be in more intimate relationships abroad and long distance. And then, of course, a painful relationship when we are broadcasted the most traumatic situations all over the world in a way that is constant. But what's missing for me is this flavor, this energy of creativity, of really making within the void, of holding. This is where my relationship coaching comes in, where there's this presence to emotions and working with emotions. But the creative energy is, how do I be present to what is and also create from it, make from it? And so if you work with me in this digital space, unlike the digital wellness app on your phone, which is just going to feed you back numbers about how many hours you've been on your devices or not been on your devices. And even unlike some books that are more about just reducing screen time, what we're going to do is connect to the heart, the essence of your own inner fire. And then also get some of the tools and tricks of these digital spaces, really reflect on your particular experience with technology. How does technology impact your life in your personal and professional life? What are the media platforms you use the most or have to use the most? What are the work platforms that you use the most? What are the financial platforms that you use? And then how can we accelerate your goals in life using your personal creative intelligence and the intelligence of these devices? When it comes to technology and we look at the history of the calculator, the addition of a calculator didn't remove the math that we do in the world. It amplified the quality of what we can do mathematically. There is still basic math that's necessary to know as a human so that we are not reliant on a calculator. But there's also huge mathematical calculations that don't need to be done by us. But so we can put math to work, so we can put the calculator to work to solve larger things that math is a contributor to. And this is the same role that our devices can be in our life. They can be the calculator to large, complex problems. We still have the computing problem issues. We still have to center in our own what our creativity is, what our intelligence is, what our soul fire is. But we also have access to tools that can help accelerate our mission and vision. And I'm going to hold you in this duality of frustration and overwhelm in this age of technology and in whatever technological transition looked like in your life, whether you're younger and had access to these tools and went through the addition of Snapchat or TikTok or another platform, or whether you were not exposed to this and didn't have a laptop or a phone until later in your life. I'm going to work with you on the emotional and social experience that happened through these transitions so that you can reclaim your relationship to this experience of radical change in life and connect with your soul's desire so you can do the things you want to do in the world, so you can be a proactive person in your life, in relationship, in social situations, in your spirituality, in your identity, in your wealth, in your profession. If this is interesting to you, please get back to me. I'll be having 2 containers here. So this is starting in 10 days on November 25th. And one option is going to be just to be in the 30-day container. You'll get my reflections, you'll get my daily videos. And the other option is to be experiencing 4 coaching sessions during this time. And then the long-term option is to actually start in January 15th when I do the gold standard, and to actually be part of a 3-month, 10-session house clearing. We consider house cleaning whenever we need emotional, mental, spiritual resets, because we know that shifting our relationship to stuff shifts our relationship to purpose, to life itself. We know Marie Kondo taught us, we already knew this, but Marie Kondo taught us the emotionality behind the things that we own and why we feel that we need to have ceremony or ritual sometimes to mourn the loss of things. We need the same level of cleaning and clearing and moving through within our digital homes, which create reflections of our emotional heart homes. I'm not saying your heart is a reflection of your digital space, but I am saying that when your heart is conflicted, so your relationship to technology will be conflicted. And that conflict in the digital space, the disorganization, the excessive emails, the overflowing inbox, the unmade calls, the lateness, the incapacity to get paid on the things that you need and want to get paid for, the loss of free time, right? All this we want to be able to reclaim so we can connect to our own heart. Just like cleaning a house helps us connect to our own soul, our own purpose, the fact that life does not last forever. What I love about the digital world is it can connect us to our heart, depending on what you believe, our heart center, which does have the capacity to last well beyond our life. Our heart and our expression here is what lasts after the body leaves. So how do we get clear about it? And how do we get honest about what might be getting in the way? There's one other thing that I want to say about the urgency of this. I am not offering this as a single coaching experience or package. I am in the space of digital thriving also as a researcher, as a future founder and CEO. I want, as an advocate and a political activist, I want to see transformed relationship to technology on personal and collective levels. And in order to do that, I need to see, I don't need to, but I desire to have more people who have access to this shifted energy. And as someone who grew up with such resistance to technology, I feel I'm uniquely capable of offering this. I'd like to share one story just to emphasize this. My brother-in-law, Dan Nunez, who many people know in the Lansing community, runs a pottery studio with my sister, Abby. And when they were opening the studio, I said, Dan, why did you choose pottery? Because he's an art teacher. He was my former art substitute teacher who I skipped class for. And I said, there's so many other kinds of art that you do. How did you come to pottery, being the art studio that you were going to own? And he said, I chose pottery because it was the only thing that didn't come naturally for me. It was the hardest thing to learn. And that's why I can teach it. And the reason why I feel equipped to work on this issue is because I am the strongest and I don't want to say am, but even so, I'm a deep critic of technology. I am someone who's trained as a holistic sexuality, love, and relationship coach. I work on community building. I want to see a world more connected, more vivid, more alive, with our relationship to Earth revamped. And in order for me to find fulfillment on that path, I learned it could not be without shifting my relationship to technology, because I went through one approach, which was to ignore technology. And I went through a second approach, which was to run away from society and live as far outside of it as I could at times. And I still do that at times. I love detoxes, I love getting away, and I have the desire to be in nature. But the third option came when I realized that when I began taking responsibility for my life and tuning into the visions that I had, which were for collective change. And I recognized that in order to be a part of this society, I would need a renewed relationship with technology to survive. So I believe digital thriving is not just an extra or an add-on. I actually believe it's a foundation to survival in this age. But I'm calling it digital thriving, not digital surviving, because the potential for it to help unleash and open new opportunities, new things that I can't see yet, and I'm not going to pitch yet because I'm not seeing them, is alive. I want to be able to hold the space for this. And I really invite you to be part of my first 30-day series, just November 25th to December 24th, as well as the 10-week series as well. But for now, please tap in, send me a message of what's stopping you right now in your life, where technology has caused pain, what I'm sharing is resonating with you, and one area of your life where you most desire freedom. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in.